of all, we rise and give honors to the higher power, which is vibrating on a feminine frequency right now. So you can replace the name of the higher force for the Moors is Allah. So you can replace Allah with whatever you call entity that you consider the higher power. Alright? If you could have everybody that's repeat after me. Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my guide.
Allah is my guide.
My protector. And my salvation. By day. And by night. Through his holy prophet. Noble Ali. Amin Ra. Everybody can take a seat. Thank you. All right. In November 2010, Canada signed on to the United Nations declarations. Right? There's 3 United Nations declarations. There's the Declaration of the Rights of a Child, the Declaration of the Rights of Humans, and the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Where we're standing right now is not Canada. Canada, that they say was founded in 1867, is a private corporation that is housed in M.A.N.G, which is the ancient name of Africa, which is this land. Because if we go across the Atlantic Ocean and we ask anybody from over there, what are they? They're going to say, I'm Congolese, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Abyssinian, I'm Eritrean, I'm Zimbabwean, I'm Somalian, but they would never say that they're African. Because the people on the other side of the Atlantic, they know their culture. They have knowledge of self over there. There's people from Asia that we would call Chinaland that's going to South Africa and claiming land in South Africa. Asians, Chinese people, are leaving China and going to the continent, South Africa, and claiming land there and getting it. And the government is telling them, the Asians, that if you come here in order to do business, you have to be called a black person. And guess what the Chinaman is saying? No. Because I'm indigenous to this land over here. What you call South Africa, I call South Asia. Because that's what my history says that land is called. Go ask any Chinese person, what's below Asia? And they're going to tell you South Asia. But that's as far back as those people's history go. When you look at melanin beings, people who have high concentrations of melanin, they were around when the whole world was one landmass. And the whole world being one landmass was called Asia. And Asiatics were the people of that landmass. There was a great earthquake that separated the land, and we have the Atlantic Ocean. And the Atlantic Ocean is named the Atlantic Ocean after the land called Atlantis sank because of the earthquake. Say that again, sister? The Great Flood. Well, the Great Flood is because of the earthquake. Because the land, when they say Great Flood, right? The water had to come from somewhere. It came from the heavens as one form of destruction because of the universal principles that the people were born against, and Mother Nature was pissed off at them because they honored not their foremothers and their forefathers, and they forgot about the covenant that them and their brother and sister are one. Them defiling themselves is defiling earth. So when we speak about the indigenous people of the continent, that's those people. There's indigenous people from this side of the continent also. And the indigenous people on this side of the continent today are labeled minorities, Negro, Black, Colored, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Guyanese, South American, Cuban, Brazilian, etc., etc. So you are actually the indigenous people of this land, not the people that they say are the indigenous people. In 1913, there was a Cherokee Indian that looked like us by the name of Kudjo. 1913. We're in a blazing red fez, just like this, meeting with Marcus Garvey, meeting with all these people in the NAACP. Founders of the Nation of Islam were part of the Moorish movement. The founders of the Nation of Islam were part of the Moorish movement. That's where the economic plan for the Nation of Islam came from. That's where the discipline of the Nation of Islam came from. Brothers and sisters wearing fezzes. This is a national headwear of the indigenous people of this land. You could go right now and ask Dr. York if he's a Moor, and he'll tell you, yeah. Because the Moors are the indigenous people of this landmass. And a Moor is any dark-skinned person, especially the African Negro. That's the definition of a Moor. How many Africans are in here?
Entirely.
How many people are so-called Negroes in here?
Not me, I don't know what.
How much people have been labeled at-risk, disenfranchised, etc.?
All of us.
So everybody who's in here, you're indigenous to this landmass. So if you're indigenous to this landmass, and you're claiming to be from somewhere that you're not indigenous to, you just denationalize yourself. Which means you took the position of a fiction over a reality. The indigenous people of this landmass are the Moors. In 1913, Prophet Noble Juwali came to teach the people that they are the indigenous people of this landmass. In 2010, Canada signed on to the United Nations declarations. And one of the declarations are for the rights of indigenous people. Those documents don't give rights. Those documents uphold the fact that these rights exist. And these rights that exist in law are called inalienable and unalienable rights, which means that you're born with them.
Yep.
So don't think that when you see brothers in fezzes that call themselves Moors and they're from the Moor Science Temple, that they're trying to get you to join some group. Like, this is not a group that you're joining. You're being given back your birthright that was stripped from you during slavery, that labeled you Negro, black, colored, and all these things that we call ourselves, which are not recognized by any nation on the planet Earth. We can go to the UN right now. There's no black flag in there. There's no Negro flag in there. There's no colored flag in there. There's no Pan-African flag in there. But we want to rep those stuff. And then we want to go to those guys and complain about abuses that we're getting from foreigners when we're in our own land. Prisoners in our own land. And we don't have the sincerity to consider Prophet Noble Ali, just like we consider Dr. Ben and Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad and Malachi York
And Harriet
and
Tubman.
Marcus Garvey and Harriet Tubman, you could go to any bookstore around here, that so-called Afrocentric black bookstore, and they're not going to have one law dictionary in that bookstore. They're not teaching the people about the law. And the fact that the law comes from you. Government doesn't give you rights or anything for that matter. Government's purpose, especially democratic forms of government, their purpose is to subjugate the people in order to escheat the land. Because all of those governmental corporations are bankrupt. That's not what I say, that's history. They'll tell you in 1933 the stock market crashed and we're bankrupt. And if Canada was founded in 1867, but I'm going to go to the Articles of Confederation, which is 17-something, and Canada's going to be mentioned there, there's a conspiracy going on.
A shame.
If the Articles of Confederation, which is connected to the United States of America, mentions Canada, 1700 something, and then 1800 something, they're saying that Canada was founded. There's a conspiracy going on. And all of you have been cheated of your history if you believe Canada was founded in 1867. Because Canada existed before 1867. And it existed as a republic, which is part of the Republic of the United States of America.
The people, we the people.
Right?
Wake up.
When we look at this landmass, there has been a reconstruction of history on this side of the planet. That if these people that call themselves Negro, black, and colored realize and recognize that they're the actual heirs to the land, it's not the so-called Indian that has status cards that live on the reserve, you wouldn't have to be doing all this meeting and greeting. We would be self-autonomous to do what we're supposed to do as the natural heirs to the land. When these guys say that they have a new world order, the new world order is one human family. The new world order isn't what those guys are pushing that they call Masons and Illuminati. Those guys aren't the new world order. This is why they say the sun never rises or sets on the British Empire. Why? Because the British Empire